What's up, everybody? I'm Nick, and today I'm here in Newport, Rhode Island, and we're gonna do the cliff walk. I'm back in my home birth state, not up in New Hampshire or Vermont or New York or anywhere else. Figured I'd do something local since the trails look pretty crappy given the conditions. Going into this weekend, it's Good Friday before Easter. I've got a half-day afternoon off, so figured I'd do something fun. Never have done the full cliff walk before, despite spending 20 plus years of my life in Rhode Island. I've done portions of it, but never done the whole thing. So we're gonna check it out today. The weather has been kind of crap, even around here leading into today, but it looks like it's finally supposed to clear up, fingers crossed. So hopefully we have a fun time. So the cliff walk more or less starts on the west side of Easton's beach, aka First Beach in Newport, and it goes all the way down sort of around a point into the eastern side of Bailey's Beach, or aka Rejects Beach. It goes by some of the mansions and a couple different little geographical features, points and stairs and things of that nature. It starts out paved, and I think it actually gets a little bit rougher as we get further south on it. I have to say, those signs with the little dude just plummeting to his death off an apparent cartoon cliff, kind of funny. Hopefully that doesn't become us today. I'm not jinxing myself, but I think I've seen at least 3 of those signs so far, and I think we've made it maybe a third of a mile down the way. Won't be looking to get too close to the edge on cliffs today. That's for sure, with the wet weather just subsiding. Everything's nice and slick. Besides the fact that we're already near the ocean. So still paved so far. It's an interesting sort of dynamic with the hedgerows and fences to our right side on the trail that are blocking the views to some of these enormous houses that are in this part of Newport. Obviously there's some of the famous mansions that were built that you can see pretty well from the cliff walk, but many of these homes are just like private and stunning, frankly. Some of them I can see them make them out through the hedgerows and bushes and whatnot over here. Pretty cool. Lots of daffodils blooming too, given the time of year. about to get to the famous 40 steps. Not really sure what the backstory is. See if there's a plaque or something about what it actually is. Just sort of steps that go down towards the ocean from the cliff walk itself. Pretty cool. Meh. Good view across the bay. You can see out to Sakana Point, I think, in Little Compton, across from us. I noticed this when I was looking online too, but it looks like there's a small detour for some improvements they're making to a 1 block length of the cliff walk, so we're following the detour. Looks like this detour is going to take us right by Salve Regina University campus. Fun fact, I actually applied to Salve and got in when I was out of high school, and definitely kind of wanted to go here a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, just because of the ocean vibe and the fact that they had a surf team and I was into surfing at the time. Alas, I ended up going to Rhode Island College and everything worked out fine, but it is a beautiful campus along the ocean here in Newport at Salve. And we're back on the cliff walk proper again. It was a very, very short detour. I was walking by that massive building that you could see in the last couple cliffs, shots, whatever you want to call them, whatever the technical term is. And I assumed that this was a mansion, but I think it's actually part of Salve Regina University, this beautiful building on the water over here. Again, I wish I had some history glyphs to fill in. Should have done more research before I hit the road. Probably becoming obvious I know a lot more about mountains than I do about the cliff walk in Newport. Okay, I ran up and got a glimpse of the sign. It said Ochre Court, or Ochre Court, I guess. That's what that building is called. Also could see briefly through the trees. It was kind of tough to get a camera shot. I don't feel like changing lenses. You can see where the cliff walk's actually washed out completely, which explains that detour. When I say washed out completely, it looks like the ledge and the short support structure underneath the path, it literally just fell into the ocean. I know Sandy did a number down here many years back, not many years back, but quite a few years back at this point. And this area gets battered pretty heavily by hurricanes. last building you saw with the amazing field of daffodils around it is called the Vinland Estate, which apparently was constructed around the 1880s by a tobacco heiress. So there's truly a fact of the day. There's actually these little trail markers with QR codes. I just haven't noticed them up till now, with the notable landmarks and kind of a brief description that links you to a nice little website, so that's kind of cool. Looks like ahead we're coming up on Breakers, which is notably the most impressive of the Newport mansions. It's the biggest. It's probably the most grandiose, built by the Vanderbilts. Behind us is Breakers, built in 1892 by the Vanderbilts, the railroad tycoons of the time. Their summer cottage, actually, so just a summer house. Wild the amount of wealth that was floating around in the United States at that time. Just passed by Ruggles Ave, right near the famous surf spot Ruggles. Probably one of the premier places in Rhode Island to surf when the swell gets super big. I paddled out here maybe one time during my entire surfing career and was quite afraid most of the time, frankly. Has to be really big, like overhead, head-high swell just for this to even break. There's actually a couple waves breaking today, right from that storm that was kind of passing by us the last few days. We're also walking by Anglesea, another historic cottage slash mansion by the cliff walk. According to some signs, apparently the path gets a little bit rougher up ahead. Looks kind of rocky. Man-made structure still, so I don't think it's going to be anything that crazy. Really pretty little cove over here with waves breaking and stuff. Folks out enjoying the nice day. Everybody's itching to get out after all the rain and kind of crappy weather we've had the last few days. Just looking at the map again, it looks like Breakers is sort of the logical halfway point. I don't think I mentioned yet, but it's actually 3.5 miles one way. Just debating maybe walking through the neighborhood on the way back, we'll see. I may swap to photography mode, snap some pictures on the way back. Hasn't been anything really that crazy so far. Hopping on rocks for a bit. Felt right back at home like we're in the Whites. I do have appropriate footwear, so I think I'm all good. Up next on our tour, we're going to be going by Rosecliff, another mansion that I'm not sure the name of. See if we can find that out. And Marble House. Also going to go by this sort of tea house thing that I forget which mansion it's a part of. I think it's part of Marble House, if I remember correctly. Getting to be a little bit less people the further down we're going on the cliff walk south. Unfortunately, not really a great spot on the cliff walk to see Rosecliff from, but the history behind that is it was constructed by Teresa Ulrichs, a Nevada silver heiress, in 1899. Maybe butchering that last name. Sounds like she had a lot of extravagant parties, including ones with Harry Houdini. Pretty neat. Like we're coming up on Marble House next, and you can see some shots of a house through a gate. It's actually private property, which means someone owns it, which is just insane. Gorgeous house. You can also see the tea house in front of us. That's part of Marble House, as I thought. Marble House is another mansion built by the Vanderbilts in 1892. A really impressive mansion. Should mention, if you want to visit any of these, if you're not from around here and you just happen to be stumbling upon my video, you're probably around here if you've been checking out my videos, because I hike mostly in the Northeast. But the Newport Mansions Society kind of does tours of all these. They decorate them for Christmas and stuff, which is really neat. Highly recommend checking them out. Very cool history. Got a spooky little tunnel ahead of us. Gonna go under the tea house. trail, aka the cliff walk, has gotten little bit rockier. Nothing too crazy though. If anything, I just need to pay attention where my feet are because I'm holding a camera and I don't want to trip. Really pretty though. Pretty sure I've never done this. If I did, I was really young and don't remember it. By done this, I mean the whole thing. We're coming up to, I believe, Rough Point next, which is a mansion and a point. Pretty sure. Confirm on the map. Really pretty down here. And the rain has continued to hold off, so I'm pretty pumped about that. So we just went by Rough Point, another Vanderbilt mansion built in 1891. And probably about the roughest part of the cliff walk so far. It's actually sort of a little jagged outcropping. Made me feel a little bit like I was in the mountains for a second. Surprisingly, I've done like 300 feet of elevation gain. Granted, I've also been running back and forth to get the camera. It's probably added a little bit, but not bad considering we're in Rhode Island, right near the coast. Finally actually getting to some cliffs too. Making our way around Rough Point, another really beautiful mansion. I'm not sure if that one's open to the public, or at least I don't think it was when I toured the mansions as a kid. Not positive on that one. Beautiful spot. We're sort of going around towards the southern tip of Newport in an area they refer to as Land's End. Very rocky, pseudo-cliffy. I wouldn't say the cliffs are really that large. Some really interesting stone walls and stuff by the shore too. Must have been built quite a while ago. absolutely stunning houses over here that are all just private property. Really pretty as we're wrapping around sort of the southern tip point off of Newport proper. A little wet here and there. Had to hop up on a wall earlier. So even though I live in Mass now, I always consider myself a Rhode Islander at heart. And I gotta say, I'm biased, but we have some really pretty coastline here. It's really pretty down here. Not a ton of people either. Beautiful. Probably can hear depending on how well the wind cut's working on this, but it is incredibly windy as we're wrapping around the point and heading back north again. It's pretty cool. One of the guys, I guess he must own and manage the property over here, actually told me to feel free to go on their property and take some pictures. Might go to a ledgy outcrop they had on the property and check it out. Thought he was gonna chew me out or something. Guess that says maybe a lot about me, which is just think a little bit more people sometimes. Just consider everybody is going to be super nice. Good lesson as we are going into Easter Sunday. Really pretty over here as we head back towards Bailey's Beach, aka Rejects Beach. think we're just about coming to the end here. It's a fun trip. It's shooting video. Been out here a little over 3 hours. A little bit longer than I thought, but it's been fun to just take my time and try to get some shots. And it is a beautiful day. It's crazy how much the weather changed from this morning. It was raining literally the entire drive down here until I got in the parking lot. Finally stopped and the sun's actually poking out. If you made it this far in the video, thanks very much for watching. No, it's not my usual MO hiking video. I guess you could consider this a hike. It's more of a walk. But really fun to just get out, do some filming, hopefully give you some history tidbits. Check it out if you happen to be in the area. And we'll see you in the next one.